position, no longer in that mummy state. They lied to us, said we got shipped from miles away. But the old back heads look just like me. The flow a gift like Big Trent, St. Maurice. That's charitable, these lands inheritable. Reversion of a state inevitable. So stop this cheat, I'm on a plane out of your reach. And I ain't talking Delta seats. All metaphysics with a well-blended civics. We colleagues, not lieutenants. This got us jealous like Musa Ben said. True Ali revelation, new Moors is here. Displaying the art, Khalifa society, make sure y'all. The Sufi mystic T-pour from the hype Moorish tradition. Perpendicular position, no longer in that mummy state. They lied to us, said we got shipped from miles away. But the old back heads look just like me. The flow a gift like Big Trent, St. Maurice. That's charitable, these lands inheritable. Reversion of the state inevitable. So stop this cheat, I'm on a plane out of your reach. And I ain't talking Delta seats. All metaphysics with a well-blended civics. We colleagues, not lieutenants. This got us jealous like Musa Ben said. True Ali revelation, new Moors is here. Displaying the art, Khalifa society, make sure y'all.
Moorish master MC, also a grand sheep. Delectable Negro, barbecue when the clan meet. See me in my fans, won't mistake me for black man. I'm colored, might assume I'm a Masonic brother. Brown chronic lover, either road or edible supper. Vibrate at a high rate, turn to a dimension jumper. Hit the soul plane, quick build with the profit. Get back to the earth plane, dismissed on the docket. Magistrate lane and vomit, janitor bring the comet. No bond paid, temple gets a deposit. Sketch not composite. Left no witness, left blue on the litmus. Get altitude sickness, so high on your head. Whenever I spit this, I'm the type to forget, so you get no forgiveness. Business is strictly like Eric and Parrish. Moreno is my status if you're speaking in Spanish. Man or manish when I draw from the chalice. Looking like the paintings of Arabs. Tiger head rug in the palace, accepting your challenge. Thano glove slap since you thought I was average. Carried by 1,000 scarabs over the hot sand. Last name comes from Moors that rule Scots land. Black or Moors you thought Elizabeth got banned. True Ali name known again was not planned. Try to call me Indian, no that will not stand. Forget to say the prayer, now I feel I'm in Copland. Forgot the amethyst, start rubbing on stone shaman. Cause a glitch in the matrix, stop feds from charging. Body frozen walking past, the eyes enlarging. With a ray gun like Marvin Martian. That's all folks when we activate carbon. End it all like arson, or your face on a carton.
I'm a Moorish American man, national. 360 degrees is added to my arsenal. Like a carpenter, got me building temples, but mentally. Noble Jew, I lead the measure and stick your activities. I came here to predicate, change the negativity. Precisely, my purpose is to uplift humanity. So why you mad at me? Cause you know I'm a Moor. 2,000 years with the prophet like I've been here before. Go ahead and diss the prophet cause you're so immature. When justice come knock at your door, bodies will get the floor. Like a faux puzzle your brain just like a jigsaw. Moved to cut your head off and did we play ping pong. Looking through the peephole cause you hear the ding dong. I don't sing songs, I'm the champ with no rings on. Concrete jungle gives a fuck about King Kong. I'm ready to go and when I die I scream out yeehaw like Kid John. Cause my last words would be Islam. What up more, my higher self is keeping me this calm.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense with
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. A noise joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, they ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me upright, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no clue I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pull, magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Nah, you're not giving it a try. Definitely not going to be giving it a try. Islam to all the Moors. Happy Holy Day. So it looks like MSTA 1928 put out their article, The Rise of the Truth. The Rise of the Truth. Why are they saying the rise of the truth? Isn't there something called the rise of already, but it wasn't the truth? So why? Now this is Moor Science Temple of America people who are supposed to be Moors. And then something says rise of the Moors, but they're not riding with rise of the Moors, they're riding with rise of the truth. Alright, so if they're going to be doing the truth, then let's see what truth they got. If they're so not about Moors, but about truth. Just recently, in an all too well known set of circumstances, has yet again pulled the Moor Science Temple of America into the dismal limelight of having association with a known domestic terrorist group. The group is identifying itself as the Rise of the Moors, an anti-government organization. The group claims to reflect the ideology. The group claims to reflect the ideology of the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, of Prophet Drew Ali, the founder of the Moor Science Temple of America. It is an unfortunate act of defense that faithful Moorish American Muslims continue to find themselves having to get in front of news stories highlighting fake bootleggers making claims to be associated in some form or fashion with the MSTA. That's Moorish Science Temple, 1928. And they specifically say 1928 on their Moorish Science Temple because they don't want to be affiliated with anybody else. Why would they separate themselves? Why would they have to separate themselves from the Moorish nation to be Moorish Science Temple of America, 1928, in order to have some type of authority? Because, you know, our senses went off when we were
May I have your attention, please?
Yeah, sure.
May I have your attention, please? Is that this time we are conducting an annual monthly fire alarm inspection of the building. I repeat, we are conducting an annual fire alarm inspection of the building. At this time, the alarm will be sound. I repeat, the alarms will be ringing. This is just a test. I repeat, this is just a test. If there's a real emergency, another announcement will be made. I repeat, if there's a real emergency, another announcement will be made. Thank you.
So they got the announcement before we go in on them. You got the announcement that they're just a test. They're just a test. So if they're a test, somebody's giving them. If they're a test, if they're not real, if they're just a test, because you know the reality is after you get 100 on the test, then you start doing what you claim that you know in the test. So these people are the tests. Are you getting 100 or are you failing? Right. Now let's see what the reality looks like now. Let's see what after the test, and then you got 100. Looks like. I'm a Christian, not of the same background as you. I'm for freedom and the God-given human right you have to be safe in your person and to not being subjected to search and seizure. I get we have differing religious and faith views, but honestly, if we don't start getting each other's backs, we are never going to get out from underneath tyranny. I heard they are not allowing you bail. Is this true? Do you have a way to accept donations? The government should serve one purpose. It should only act as a pure buffer for opposing views to express grievances or issues towards one another, and act as a mediator for those parties to come to a mutual agreement. I can't believe they arrested you for carrying firearms, something you're clearly protected with the Second Amendment. God willing, you will win your lawsuit. It could be a big win for the freedom of all people. Also, just a suggestion, get away from Gmail. They are clearly tracking everyone's whatever. As a fellow gun owner, you guys just did something massive for the Second Amendment. 11 armed black men that were simply going to train for whatever reason got caught in an anti-gun state, my own. Had what the media is calling a standoff. You did nothing wrong, and it's unfortunate it even came to this. I'm a white man and love to see what you guys are doing. Massachusetts and Maura Healey I'm a white man and love to see what you guys are doing. Massachusetts and Maura Healey are going to have no idea what to do with this. Keep fighting the good fight. Second Amendment and the Constitution is sacred, and we must all protect that. And I couldn't imagine handling that in a better way than you did. Amazing. Who you riding with? You riding with the Christian? Oh, you riding with the Christian? You riding with the niggers and fezzes? Who you riding with? The Christian or the niggers and fezzes? Huh? You gonna ride with the traitors, or are you gonna ride with the constitutionalists? Huh? Who you riding with? If you're riding with the traitors, if you're riding with the Moor Science Temple of America 1928 people who are telling you that the rise of the Moors was wrong, and any Moor who's active and gets kidnapped or gets harassed by these people, that they're wrong for doing whatever they did, if you're listening to them, if you're listening to the people who are selling you out to the same person you're marching and picketing up and down the place for, too, about stuff they're doing to you, and you don't realize that the only way they can do stuff to you is if one of your own is helping them. No, but you don't want to go with that, because then you have to take responsibility, and then you have to start severing ties with people who you shouldn't probably be hanging around if they're not on your vibration. But nah, you don't want to cut ties with them. You still want to go to the barbecue and eat pork with your fez on. You still want to go to the bar and have your turban on and have drinks. You still want to say religious stuff and try to put Noble Drew Ali in religion. But people who are actually living this, you're not going to hear what they're saying. The people who have all different nations telling them, hey, I don't know what's going on over there, but you know, you have our support, hope everything goes all right. You're not riding with those people? Why are you riding with them who are giving support? Why would you ride with the people who are defaming and slandering? What's the reason that you're riding with them, but you're not going to ride with this Christian? So you're not going to ride with this Christian. You're really not going to ride with this Christian, but you're going to ride with these people over here because they got fezzes on. Okay, well, how about Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, know thyself and thy father God Allah. The genealogy of Jesus, with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know about his life works and teachings. So the genealogy of Jesus that Noble Drew Ali brought to these Moors is telling them about the 18 years of the events and life and works and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. It means Jesus went to those places. Jesus went to those places. One of these places that he went to is Europe. And then you have people today, you go to their house and they have a European Jesus on the wall. So somebody who says their Jesus is a European, right? Nobody didn't say it was brown skinned Jesus or yellow Jesus or nothing like that. Anybody who loves Jesus, don't care what he looks like. His name Jesus? Yeah? Okay. If you love him, you better take heed to what I'm saying. This is 1930s. Someone had taken heed. And they didn't look like us. So people took heed to the prophet's teachings and then went about their business. Why today you have some European Christian riding with the Moors. You think he's riding with the Moors because he knows Jamal? You think he's riding with the Moors because they had Moroccan flag out there? You think he's riding with the Moors because he is anything except a constitutionalist? And as a modern European in America, that's the supreme law of the land. Period. And the supreme law of the land says you're allowed to have a regulated militia. And if somebody's ex-military and then they're taking people training, more than likely it's regulated. It's not some dumb nigger going in the bushes with guns with some other dumb niggers. Just like the individual who's going to say right to travel, obviously they've had a license. Only a dumbass would not know how to operate a conveyance and talk about they got their card, they're a Moor, they have a right to travel and go behind the wheel and never been behind the wheel before. You're a dumbass. I hope you drive off a cliff with your dumbass. Playing games. So this is about rights. This is not about praying to Noble Drew Ali. This is not about Circle 7 is a holy book and carry it under your arm and open it on the ottoman on page 22 because that part touched me, so I just want to have this open. Absolutely nothing. None of that. If you're saying I'm a Moor and I have a nationality and I have a nationality card and you're talking about all that stuff, then you're talking about exercising rights. You're not talking about this passive stuff that you've been seeing people doing. You're talking about take all the finance that you got, trade it and go get some gold and silver or something like that. Or take all your finance that you got and start something so other people could be inspired to be Moors too. Because they ain't being nothing else. Because we've been everything else and nothing worked. We've been everything else and nothing worked. Now, even they're going to do their reparations march near the UK this weekend, August 1st. They're marching. You're not an army, but you're marching, like Brother Azariah used to tell them. You're not in the military, but you're marching. Where are you marching to? Where are you marching to? And it's a repetitive theme of our people having failures when they play Negro, black, colored, African slave ship BS. Remember, we're still talking about Moors, because all the African BS is only around because these traders in the Moor Science Temple didn't do their job after Noble Drew Ali died. They played church. And everybody said, forget that Moor stuff, and went to go be whatever else was out there. Right? But this is the incompetence. This is the incompetence. Why? They don't want to hear Cujo talk. Because I'm going to show you your incompetence. And you either have to take responsibility and correct yourself, or you're probably a traitor. And then whatever treatment you get, that's what you get for being a sellout and not sticking to the program in order to liberate the people. Because it's only the dead priesthood that think about their selfish self. They want views, and they want likes, and they want thumbs up. The march is more than a day. All year, we as a committee, and you as part of the community, must take some responsibility to educate, agitate, and plan to bring about our liberation. So they have their little committee, never looked up committee. Right, so this is actually what they have. In practice, an assembly or board of persons to whom the consideration or management of any matter is committed or referred by some court. An individual or body to whom others have delegated a committee, a particular duty, or who have taken on themselves to perform it in the expectation of their act being confirmed by the body they profess to represent or act for. The term is especially applied to the person or persons who are invested by order of the proper court with the guardianship of the person and estate of one who has been adjudged a lunatic. So hold on a second. So the African Emancipation the African Emancipation Day Reparations March Committee, the Reparations March Committee is especially applied to the person African Emancipation Day, all the Negro, black, coloreds who are down with it, right? They don't know that because they're down with it, that doesn't mean that you support anything. Because you're looking too far into the future. You should be focusing on the basics. And the basic point is that a committee is the term especially applied to the person or persons who are invested, African Emancipation whoever's, by order of the proper court. Which court? I bet you it's not an African court. I bet you it's not an African court. With the guardianship with the guardianship of the person and estate, the person and estate who has been adjudged a lunatic. If you're brown and you're black, if you're brown and you're light skinned, if you're brown and you're a continent, if you're brown and you're from some ship floating in the ocean, if you're brown and you're a fiction, and you're brown and you're colored, and you're brown and everything else under the sun except a nationality, you're a lunatic. So because you're a lunatic, you're under guardianship. And guess who the guardians are? The scent sellouts, the scent traders, whose position is to defend the hen house. Because they're a traitor. And that's been your problem since the beginning of your existence. Some European killed Abel? Who killed Abel? A European? If they're giving you a committee, and that committee is not of nationals, that's guardianship. That's guardianship. And if you're under guardianship, you're not getting reparations. If you're under guardianship, why would you get reparations? But no, they don't want to hear Morris talk. They want to listen to their nigger leaders. Which some of those nigger leaders are Moors. Right? This is Moor Science Temple of America, 1928. Back to them. We continue to exclaim and explain with great avidity the philosophy of the Moor Science Temple of America regarding the teachings of Islam, nationality, and history as taught by Prophet Drew Ali. So if they're supposed to exclaim and explain the philosophy of the Moor Science Temple of America regarding the teachings of Islam, nationality, and history taught by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, then why are they against Rise of the Moors? Like, why are they against them? They're humanitarian. They go out and do food drive, clothing drive. They go to the marches for people fighting against children's services and all that. That's humanitarian. That's the Rotarian complexion that Noble Drew Ali talked about. So if they're exercising the Rotarian complexion by being humanitarian, then how are these people, who are called Moor Science Temple of America 1928, going against Rise of the Moors? Oh, because they're a traitor. And you don't seem to get the point. You don't seem to get the point. No. That's why we say the boat has left the dock. Because it went over your head like a hoodie and you still don't even get it. Still don't get it. Our theology goes beyond merely quoting and forming idioms that we live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Our direct approach of living our faith of Islam is formulated by creating harmony in all that we do, reflected in the words, acts, and deeds. There is no gray area when it comes to the practice of Islam. There are two sides, one side of being truth and the other falsehood. There's no gray area when it comes to the practice of Islam. Hold on a second. No, you said they're followers of Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. And they're talking about Islam. If they're talking about Islam, then the only place to go is to Noble Drew Ali's writing where he's talking about Islam. You're not going to make up something and claim that that's what Drew Ali said. You're actually going to go to him, his two little books and newspaper and them articles, and check for yourself and see. What is Islam? Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duties toward God Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. Oh well, right there. We have one of the fellow creatures. Let's listen to this fellow creature. Let's listen to this fellow creature who saw these Moors exercising their duties toward God Allah, toward their creator, and toward their fellow creatures. And one of the fellow creatures recognized that they did that. And this is what they said. This is what the fellow creature said. Right? You just heard what the traders say, how they look at Rise of the Moors, how they look at Moors who are active, how they look at Moors who are in the public and not hiding in the temple with this information. Now let's hear how somebody on the outside of the Moorish movement is looking at Rise of the Moors. And you tell me who you're riding with. I'm a Christian, not of the same background as you. I'm for freedom and the God-given human right you have to be safe in your person and not to be subjected to search and seizure. I get we have differing religious and faith views, but honestly, if we don't start getting each other's backs, we are never going to get out from under tyranny. I heard they are not allowing you bail. Is this true? Do you have a way of accepting donations? The government would serve one purpose. It should only act as a peer buffer for opposing views to express grievances or issues towards one another and act as a mediator for those parties to come to a mutual agreement. I can't believe they arrested you for carrying firearms, something you're clearly protected with the Second Amendment. God willing, you win your lawsuit. It could be a big win for the freedom of all people. Also, just a suggestion, get away from Gmail. As a fellow gun owner, you guys just did something massive for the Second Amendment. 11 armed black men that were simply going to train for whatever reason got caught in an anti-gun state, my own, had what the media is calling a standoff. You did nothing wrong, and it's unfortunate it even came to this. I'm a white man and love to see what you guys are doing. Massachusetts and Maura Healey are going to have no idea what to do with this. Keep fighting the good fight. Second Amendment and the Constitution is sacred, and we must all protect that. And I couldn't imagine handling that in a better way than you did. Amazing. That's what Christian said with regard to Rise of the Moors. So what position you taking again? Because if you're telling me about, well, they're a Christian, no, they're Europeans, so we're not going to go with that. But these Moors over here with turbans and fezzes on, we're going to go with them. because they're Moors, you're a traitor and a sellout and a turncoat, and you should be riding the mare of steel for all that Allah that you love so much. Prove it. You love Allah that much. Prove it. Go sit on the mare of steel. So why is this Christian talking like this in favor of Moors? Because remember, they're talking about Second Amendment. They're not talking about, they call them black men and all that stuff. We ain't concerned with all that. Because that ain't what it's about. It's about, they're talking about Second Amendment. They're talking about they have rights. They're talking about Constitution. They're talking about Constitution. And that it's amazing what they did. And Drew Ali told Moors about their sacred obligation to American citizenship. Their sacred obligation to American citizenship. Then this Europeans coming out right here and telling you Second Amendment and the Constitution is sacred. And Drew Ali said enforce the Constitution. But then Moor Science Temple's not going to ride with this Christian. They're going to do everything in their power to try to convince this Christian that those Moors are some domestic terrorists about to shoot up the place or something. That's what they're attempting. Because they know that it's up. They know that it's over. They know it's over. They know that it's over. The only problem is the dumb Negroes, blacks, coloreds, and African slave people, conscious community, new age whoever's that don't want a nationality. But they're everything in the universe except Moors. You know, that's lunacy. That's why we'll go again. They're always going to set up a committee to handle your affairs in the background. The committee is especially applied to the person or persons, overseers, who are invested by order of the proper court, massa, with the guardianship of the person and estate of one who has been a judge, a lunatic, Negro, black, colored, whoever. So if there's a committee that's handling your affairs and there's no nationals on those committees, that's called guardianship, and you're a lunatic. All those schools of thought that they got, there's lunatics in those. There's not people conscious in them, there's lunatics. Every school of thought is a loony bin. Watch who you're getting this info from. Because their language alone should be exposing them as the traitors and frauds that they are. Their language alone. Theirs. Not somebody else's language. Their language. You should have so much bells and whistles going off, alerting you. Stay away and all that stuff. Danger stuff should be just going across your consciousness, warning you. It's gonna be about their Moors, and then these Moors over here are Moors, but we're Moorish Americans of Moor Science Temple, so what we do is different than those Moors over there. No, it's not. You people are traitors. That's why it's different. Because you should be doing exactly what they were doing and more. You should be doing exactly what they were doing and more. Wait, how come you're not doing exactly what they're doing and more? How come you're complaining? How are they complaining when European came out and said that this is about constitution? This is about constitution. Enforcing the constitution because there's tyranny going on. They already used the constitution as toilet paper. So what are the people going to do? You know, constitution is just a piece of paper. So what's this really about? This is really about inalienable inherent rights. It's about some papers. And as the Aboriginal indigenous people, because Drew Ali was Cherokee too, that's proof. That's verification and validation that the Moors have a superior position. Because we're not just coming at it from indigenous and that's it. We're also coming from it with nationality. We're also looking at it from nationality and looking at it from studying. And just because somebody pops up with they're the queen of some whatever, you're chasing them now. Have they proven their claim? Did you even look up queen to see what queen means and why is she calling herself a prostitute? Why is she calling herself a hussy and she's supposed to rule over you? You know, the prostitute ruling over you? And then you're going with it because they look like you and they said some marvelous words? Forget their words. What are you thinking? Where's your head at? Is your head in the game? You know, the best player on the team has problems or whatever at home and all that stuff. Is your head in the game? Thanks. Look at that. When you're in tune, you always have good holy days. You always have good holy days. You always have good holy days when you're in tune. The holy days are always holy. Always. History has a way to show the start and struggle of great things. It teaches what to avoid and the penalties in not following strict caveats meant to maintain order, protect the integrity, and preserve the culture in true form for future generations. Allow us to guide you on a faithful journey about the more science. Allow to guide you what? Allow you traders to guide us where? Really and truly. Where do we want you traders to guide us? Because before Rise of the Moors, you people weren't saying jack about what Islam means. Where were they before Rise of the Moors to say what Islam means and be an example of the faithful journey about the Moor Science Temple and all this? It's real crazy where these traders decided to go. It's real crazy where these traders decided to go. Under the name of Moorish Science Temple of America, making an absolute mockery of Noble Drew Ali and all these Moorish whoever else is out there who say that they're riding with Noble Drew Ali and not addressing these traders talking crazy about Rise of the Moors and Moors in general who are active. You got issues too. Because other than RV Bay Publications slapping Finch and Flowers and these people when they were talking crazy, other than the Grand Sheiks of Great Seal Moorish Science Temple, Sheiks of Moors Order of the Round Table, Canaanland Moors, MHHS addressing these colonists and their little henchmen that look like us. You don't hear people talking about it. Right? When you have Moors who been telling you, watch out for these fake whatever. Toriano telling you about the fake Indian people, been telling you that they're a fraud. Been telling you that they're a fraud. Because how is he, just like Drew Ali, from some tribe, grandma, great grandma said we didn't come over here and all that stuff, and he has enough sense to say, well, put an L on there just to be sure, just in case somebody tries something. Yeah, grandma said the Indian stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, we got the rolls of the whatever, but we ain't no Indians. We're Moors. You got L right there. What do you mean? What do you mean Indian cards? What are you talking about? Always have certain people talking up for the traders. Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley was a trader exposer. Telling you that it's your own. You want to hear that? You want to hear about everything having absolutely nothing to do with you. The stuff that means something to you, you don't want none of that. You want none of that. You want the figments of imagination. You want the reality. You want the illusion. These 1928 people and any other Moors talking crazy against any Moors who are active in whatever capacity that they're exercising their rights. And not being a dumbass going to claim a mansion like a dumbass. Or somebody's living in a building and they're going to go claim that because when somebody's living there. We're talking about the ones who saw that abandoned property right there and they went and claimed that. The ones who said, let me go check the county record and see if anything's abandoned. And they went and checked the record, and the record said, well, over there's abandoned, nobody hasn't used that forever. And they made their claim. Because as Aboriginal Indigenous people, you can be making claims. But if you're not making them, you think these people are giving you back your stuff? Or you expect them to give you reparations? You're a guardian. You're not getting no damn reparations. Get it out your head. You're not getting nothing from the European that's going to make you get out of the whatever. Why would they pay for you to get out of the stuff they put you in? How about you start grabbing these traders by the neck who's been helping this European? Because you already know no 5 Europeans are throwing a net over Shaquille O'Neal and put him on a slave ship. Not throwing a net over Matumbo and you have all these Matumbos on a slave ship. But if Matumbo's king is a traitor and a sellout, oh, they just gotta put it in the food. They wake up on the slave ship. Then remember, they're gonna have to get around all the Moors who were kidnapping them while they're going across the Atlantic Ocean or whatever. They're gonna have to be watching out for the Moors who are gonna kidnap them for being out there while they're trying to bring people over here with Moors on the ships, you know, sailing, bringing the Africans over. Preposterous, right? Absolutely. That can't be the story. There's no way that's the story. You know? Damn right it's an inside job. Always an inside job. That's why you're suffering today. So we want to empower you because you've done everything else to no avail. So we want to empower you to start looking at these leaders who you're claiming are leaders. Look at them. Don't worry about the white man, because, you know, white man is talking about, he's a white man and loves to see what the guys in, you know, standing up for Second Amendment are doing. So if the white man, who's the devil and all that stuff, is down with this, no, but the white man, they arrested them. Okay, so but what about this white man? This white man didn't arrest them. So if this white man didn't arrest them, how come? How's he bad? How's he the problem? If this white man didn't have anything to do with them and he sent his donation, the question is, did you send yours? Did you support the Moors generally? Did you buy a hat or something? Anything? Or you just, you know, looking for the Moorish, well, we want to see a Moorish hospital, we want to see the Moorish this and that. Did he put anything for us to have that? I'm not a Moor, so then why you want to see Moorish hospital for then? If you're not a Moor and you're debating Moors, why do you want to see a Moorish farm and a Moorish garden and a Moorish school and all that stuff if you don't care about why do you need to see it for? Because obviously you seeing it isn't going to make you say you're a Moor. You're still going to see it and say you're not a Moor. So why should we waste our time? So we should waste our time when we already know what the problem is. Problem solved. You gotta have a nationality, just like everybody else on the planet. Oh, there's the countdown before we get out of here. Don't forget, August 9th, 4040 Mystic Valley Parkway. Crazy that they're using Mystic Valley Parkway as this place where this stuff going on. Free the Moors, all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. Happy Holy Day. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam.